Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. So I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. What a day in American politics. Let's review the major stories. First of all, the announcement by Nancy Pelosi that she will retire from the House of Representatives. Now, Nancy Pelosi is a legend, no question about it. And she's been an extremely effective speaker, an extremely effective Democratic strategist, an extremely effective member of Congress. She's had a profound impact on all of our lives. And she's retiring. And age is the only barrier for Nancy Pelosi. And may I say, I expect that she will continue to influence politics for many, many years to come. At least I hope so. The Democrats were lucky to have her. Not only is she a supreme strategist, a magnificent, incomparable fundraiser, and may I say, a good friend to all of us here in San Francisco. So to Nancy Pelosi, whose career may be ending in the House of Representatives, I expect as long as she draws breath, she will remain a vital, active part of the political process. And books will be written about her, legends will be spoken about her, and let me tell you something, she deserves all of the kudos, all of the tributes. And Nancy, we urge everyone to consider what a phenomenal life you had and what we hope will be many, many more active years. There is a second element to today that is quite remarkable. The purge at the Justice Department continues. And I want to make clear that Donald Trump is once again making the ludicrous claim that he won the election of 2020. And what is happening at the Justice Department is all of those who have in any way indicated that they do not agree with Donald Trump, well, they're being purged. They are being purged from the Justice Department. And let me tell you something, this is outrageous. It's egregious. And everyone, Democrat and Republican, should be speaking out and saying no. This is just plain wrong. But of course, from the Republicans, there is a deafening silence. Remember, and I think it's an important point to point out, that when Donald Trump brought challenges in 2020 and his attorney, former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, extended those efforts, they were rebuffed at every turn. Mr. President, there is no doubt that you lost the election. And 2020, that's a long time ago in terms of political life. Let's move on. And by the way, this purge of the Justice Department, having to do on so many different levels with what's going on, just appalling. And let's talk about the fact that now we know that the impact of the shutdown of the federal government is impacting airports across the nation. And let's point out, and I think it's very important to point out, that there is no effort by Speaker Johnson to call the House of Representatives back into session. Remember, there was a special election in Arizona, and in that election, the Democrat won. And if that Democrat would be seated, and remember the Republicans, Speaker Johnson, doing everything they can not to seat that representative, there would be enough votes, 218, for a discharge resolution on the floor of the House relative to the Epstein matter. Clearly, the White House doesn't want that released either. So there is a lot going on here that is critical. And let's talk for a minute about redistricting. We now know that the Republican Party in California is going to challenge the election, which took place earlier this week. Prop 50 passed overwhelmingly, more than 60% of Californians. And yet the Republican Party is going to try, at the behest of Donald Trump, to say, oh no, this is a fraudulent election. One of the sad things that I believe is happening is that political reality is being denied. That is to say, that when Donald Trump and his minions don't like the outcome of an election, don't like the outcome of a vote, why, they are willing to do anything to obstruct it. And that, to me, is a detriment to American democracy. And I think Donald Trump is directly responsible. So I want you all to consider that simple fact. Now, let's talk practically about what happens next in the national shutdown. Well, it's very simple. The House will have to reconvene. Democrats and Republicans will have to get together and try to work out a deal, because this is the longest shutdown in history. And Donald Trump understands, I believe, that the Republicans, and deservedly so, are being blamed. How does the Republican Party get out from under this one? I don't know. And I don't think they should be able to get out from under this one. What does it mean for the midterm elections? It means that when the election rolls around in just 2 years, wait a minute. It's only 1 year, even though the Republicans would like to put it off as long as they can. The odds are that the Republicans will lose control of the House of Representatives. We saw in the election this week a repudiation of Republicans up and down the line, upper ballot, lower ballot, you name it. And there is no way to postpone the election. Oh, wait. Why did I say 2 years instead of 1 year? Because that's what Donald Trump would like to do. He would like to postpone the election. He is attacking the very essential element of the election process, saying these elections are fraudulent, saying that the Democrats are rigging elections, saying that, states controlled by Republicans should begin the process of redistricting. Do you understand that this is an attempt, as we saw on January 6th, 2021, to obstruct the American political process? And may I say, Americans, left, right, center, should stand up and just say no. And Republican Party, I'm going to call you out on this. Republican Party, where are you? If a Democrat tried to do what Donald Trump is doing, you would be crying foul. No question about it. I took some heat on my Facebook page because I put up a quote from Dick Cheney, the former vice president who passed away this week. Cheney was a conservative Republican, and he believed in the values expressed by the traditional Republican Party. I was no fan of Dick Cheney on many levels, but, and I want to be clear about this, he understood the danger of Donald Trump. To imagine that Dick Cheney, Republican stalwart, endorsed Joe Biden in the last election and attacked the idea of what Donald Trump has done to America, it took great courage for him to do that. So today, as Nancy Pelosi retires, as we reflect on Donald Trump's continued attack on the American justice system, let us be clear. The Democratic Party, the Republican Party, whatever we may believe they are or should be, should stand together against the corruption of the American political system. That's the clear message which I want to convey to you today. Because let me tell you something. I always use that poem. The election is over. The result is known. The will of the people has been shown. If we can't trust that the will of the people will be implemented because of Donald Trump's partisan politics, or if the Democrats were to do it the same, then we have a serious problem with the fundamental essence of American democracy. And that's what we're fighting for. Don't you agree? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which, of course, is our goal. You can interact with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can contact me directly. I want to hear what you have to say. That's what makes this podcast unique and special. And I also want to say a big thank you to the person who really is responsible for this going up every single day. That is Gogo Zoger. Gogo, Thanks so much. I'll be back tomorrow with more on Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you then.